Before I started SMMA and before I signed my first client, I swear to you, I tried to figure absolutely everything out. I wanted to know everything about SMMA, from contracts to the best legal way of setting up a company to basically all of the nuances that ultimately didn't really matter too much. But now looking back, there's actually three key things that I wish I had known, and these are three things that are incredibly important and things that you should know. So whether you are just starting with SMMA, you want to get started, or you've already started, these are three key things that you should know. And if you're new, hit subscribe, turn on the notifications and hit the like button. And without further ado, let's get into it. So the first key thing I wish I had known is that being busy all of the time is actually not very good. So this is a hard one to get your head around, because ultimately hustling, grinding, and working all the time seems like a great idea and seems like the things that you just have to do to be successful. But ultimately what I found is that doing all of those things are actually a waste of time a lot of the time. You see, in my opinion, grinding and hustling is not going to get you to financial freedom. It can get you your first few clients, it can get you to your first few thousand online, but it's not the kind of mentality that you need to actually be successful in the long term. So instead of trying to be working all the time, right? Instead of always being on your phone or always being on your laptop and trying to be busy, look at it this way. Before you sit down on your phone or your laptop to do some work, ask yourself this: is what I'm about to do directly going to be able to either help the clients I work with or bring new clients into my business? And if it's not really aligning with those two, it's probably not a great use of your time. You see, you don't need to spend hours, fixing your website or getting new business cards or doing these little tiny tweaks, right? These are not things that will ultimately bring you clients or get new businesses to pay you. And you'll realize this once you start focusing on the things that actually matter, right? Getting new clients and retaining your current clients, you'll realize that all this other busy work that you've been doing is actually a big waste of time. Now, don't worry if you fall victim to this. I still fall victim to this here and there. It's something that is kind of ingrained in a lot of us, and it's something we see a lot of big social media influencers and business people doing, is that they're preaching this message of hustling and grinding all of the time. But the short of the stick is this, is that you should, when you are working, whether on your phone or your laptop, work on things that will actually be productive work, right? Don't just be busy for the sake of being busy. Try and make it very productive. This means then that you can focus on your productive work, and then you can stop working and enjoy your life where you're not trying to be busy. You're just living your life and you've done your productive work. Okay, so now onto something a little bit more technical, okay? So the second thing I wish I knew was that figuring everything out in terms of setting up a company, setting up the legal structure of your agency, and having all of these formal contracts in place are things that you ultimately don't need to be worrying about right now. So quick disclaimer, this is not legal advice. I am not an accountant. I'm not qualified to even tell you what to do with this kind of thing. I'm just telling you what I've learned from my experience. So I spent a lot of time researching all of the legalities, right? I thought to myself, if I'm going to get paid by businesses, first off, I need a business. Okay. Second off, I'm going to need some contract that I can send to the businesses. That is a very formal agreement of the services I'm contracting to them and the services they're paying me for. And I also thought, hey, how do I figure out all this tax thing? Now, if you are in Ireland, this will apply to you. If you're in a different country, look into this for yourself. But in most countries, right, and in Ireland specifically, you can earn a few thousand online without really going through a whole lot of the legalities. So you have a few thousand that you can earn that is tax free. So you don't have to worry or stress about, do I have to pay tax on this until you hit that threshold. And if you speak to most accountants, they will probably say the same thing to you, is that if you are just starting off, prove the concept first, right? Get some clients, get some money coming in, and then worry about setting up whether you want to set up as a sole trader or a limited company or something completely different. You see, it's much easier to do all of those things, the things that ultimately you're going to have to pay someone to do, right? Setting up the company, it's something you got to pay for. Getting an accountant involved, something you got to pay for. It's much easier to do those things when you have money coming in. Whereas if you take the burden of doing that when you've got zero income, right? Now you're going to be in negative balance, right? You may be paid $150 to set up the company, and then you paid a couple hundred to an accountant to help you set things up, right? You could be out of pocket $300-400 and you haven't even made any money yet. Whereas on the flip side, if you just focus on getting clients in, let's say you have 2 clients, you've made $2,000, now all of a sudden it's much easier to give that person, that accountant, €300-400 to help you go and set everything up, because you've proven to yourself this works and it's a long-term business. So ultimately, you don't really need to be stressing about the accounting, tax, or things like that for now. One thing that you might want to be aware of is that when you are talking to a company, they may ask for a proposal or a contract. Now, for any of you who are in the Six Figure Accelerator program, you will actually get a copy of a proposal that I've given to you guys that you can use for yourself. If you're not in there, ultimately, I can't really share that with you as it's only for the people within that program. But in short, if you don't have one, right, and you can't get into the program, you can just start off with something very basic, okay? Something very, very basic that just says your name, the other company's name, what you're providing to them, the price of the service, and then just some general terms such as how the payment works, what's the kind of cancellation policy, what's the refund policy, and things like that. It doesn't need to be crazy in depth or anything like that, but you just want to have something in place so that when they ask for it, you have it there, it's ready to go. Ultimately, if you nearly have a deal secured, the last thing you want is for that deal to fall through because you don't have a rough proposal in place. Okay, and the third and final thing I wish I knew was that investing into a program, a course, a mentor, or anything like this is actually a very good decision when you're starting off. Now, of course, you have to find someone you trust, someone who has a proven track record, who's gotten good results, and someone that you ultimately think you can learn from. And you have to be in a position to be willing to invest time and money into a program. So usually what happens here is that if you go down that route, you invest in a program and you commit to making this a business, what will happen is you'll sign clients faster. You'll actually sign more clients in your first 3 to 4 months. And then after that, you'll actually have more knowledge on how to scale your business as well. And that's without considering all of the time savings, right? So instead of having to go through every YouTube video on YouTube about SMMA and about X, Y, and Z, you can kind of just cut all the noise, right? You can go straight to the source, straight to the actionable advice from someone, action on that, take action, get results, and boom, you've just maybe skipped about 2 or 3 months of work. The reason this also works as well is that when you commit time and money into a program, a mentor, or a course, anything like this, there's something that goes on subconsciously saying to you that, look, I've now made a commitment to making this happen. You've ultimately now got more skin in the game. Let's say you invested 300 or 400 euro into a program. You're now in a situation where you've got to make the most of that program and you're going to take more action with that program because you've got skin in the game. So it's like how if you were to download a free ebook or a free PDF, or basically anything that you get for free, you probably won't use that to your full advantage because it's free. It doesn't really have a lot of value. Whereas when you pay for something, this weird thing goes on inside your head where you actually commit now to making a return on that money. So you've committed 300 or 400 euro, so you will do anything to get that money back and to learn how to take that and turn that into 3,000 and 4,000 in client retainer. So again, find someone you can trust, someone you think you can actually learn from, and make sure you can invest that time and money. Don't do it if you don't have the time and money to invest, and just be real with yourself when you're doing it. So to recap on all those things, number one, try not to be busy all the time. Focus on the things that actually get you clients, actually make you money, and just forget about the things that you think you should be working on. Secondly, don't stress or worry about the legal side until you have some clients coming in and got some clients paying you. And third, invest in a program, a course, or a mentor, or someone if you have the time and money to do so, because it will just fast track your success. Also, I've opened up some spots within my 6-figure accelerator program. As mentioned in the video, there's a couple things in there that you will get exclusive access to, such as proposals and a bunch of other things. If you want to make sure you're doing everything you should be doing to build your 6-figure business, you can hop on a call with myself every single week in that program where we'll go over where you're at, what you should be focusing on, what you need to be doing to get to where you want to be. If you want more information about that, or you just want to check out the page and see what's included in the program, check out the link in the description. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video very, very soon.